Have you ever been in a situation where someone spoke to you with arrogance, treated you like you were less than them, and you just stood there, not knowing what to say, feeling that rage boiling inside but unable to express it? You feel how that person looks down at you, speaks louder than you, interrupts every word you try to say, and worst of all, later when you're alone, you think of 1,000 perfect responses you could have given, but in the moment, you simply froze. Maybe it was in a work meeting. Maybe it was that guy at the gym who thinks he owns the place. Or perhaps it was someone in your own family who always finds a way to make you feel small. And the more you think about it, the more frustrated you feel with yourself because you know you deserved respect, but you didn't know how to demand it without seeming weak or aggressive. You see how other men handle these situations with ease, how they put arrogant people in their place without even raising their voice, and you wonder what they have that you don't. Before we continue, I need to be completely direct with you. This is not a video created to entertain you with flashy edits and epic background music. I'm not going to put images of Thomas Shelby staring intensely at the camera every 10 seconds to maintain your TikTok attention span. This content was designed to teach you something that can radically change the way others perceive you, but only if you really pay attention to what you're hearing. The value is in every word, in every principle I'm going to share with you. If you came looking for quick entertainment, there are thousands of short videos out there. But if you want real development, if you want to learn how powerful men handle conflict without lowering themselves to the level of noise, then stay and listen carefully, because what's coming can completely transform the way you interact with arrogant people. I've studied for years how men like Thomas Shelby build their presence, and there's something fascinating they all share. They never need to shout to be heard. They never need to threaten to be respected, and they never lose their composure in front of someone trying to provoke them. Watch any scene from Peaky Blinders where someone tries to challenge Thomas, and you'll see a consistent pattern. While the other person shouts, he lowers his tone of voice. While the other gesticulates aggressively, he remains motionless. While the other loses control, he maintains an almost disturbing calm. This isn't coincidence or acting. It's a deeply effective psychological strategy based on a fundamental principle. True power never needs to announce itself. I'm going to share with you 5 concrete methods I use and have observed in truly powerful men to handle arrogant people without saying a single aggressive word, without shouting, without lowering yourself to their level of noise and insecurity. The first method is something I call strategic silence. When an arrogant person is talking to you, especially when they're being condescending or disrespectful, your natural instinct is to respond immediately, defend your position, explain why they're wrong. But here's the trick. Arrogant people feed on your emotional reaction. They need to see you upset to feel superior. Their arrogance is actually a mask for their own insecurity. So when someone speaks to you with that tone, simply look at them in silence. Not with aggression, not with fear, but with absolute calm, as if you were observing an interesting but not particularly important phenomenon. Let them finish speaking, let them fill the space with their own noise, and then maintain the silence for 2 or 3 more seconds. This silence creates immense psychological pressure on the other person because it breaks the pattern they expected. They expected you to jump, to defend yourself, to put yourself at their level. Instead, your silence communicates something much more powerful. That their words don't carry the weight they think they do. That they don't affect you because you come from a place of internal security. I've seen this method work in corporate boardrooms, in street conflicts, in family arguments, because it works at a universal psychological level. The arrogant person suddenly feels uncomfortable, starts to doubt whether what they said had the impact they expected, and in that moment of doubt, you've already won control of the interaction. The second method is responding with questions instead of statements. This is something Thomas Shelby does constantly when someone challenges him. Instead of entering a direct argument, he asks questions that force the other person to think, to justify themselves, to reveal their true intentions. For example, if someone says something arrogant like, "You don't know what you're talking about," instead of responding, "Of course I know. I've been doing this for years," simply ask calmly, "Why do you say that?" Or "What makes you think I don't understand the topic?" This technique is devastating because it transfers the burden of proof to the other person. Now they have to explain their position, they have to justify their arrogance, and most of the time you'll discover they don't have solid arguments. they're just projecting their own insecurity. Questions also give you time to process the situation without reacting emotionally, and they keep the conversation on rational ground where arrogant people usually lose because their arrogance isn't based on logic but on emotion. Additionally, when you ask questions with a calm voice and direct eye contact, you demonstrate that you're not afraid of conflict, that you're willing to dig deeper into the topic, and that intimidates much more than any aggressive response. It's like chess. Instead of attacking directly, you move a piece that forces your opponent to reposition themselves, and in that repositioning, they reveal their weaknesses. The third method is what I call the disarming partial agreement. When an arrogant person criticizes or challenges you, one of the most powerful techniques is to agree with a small part of what they say, but on your own terms. For example, if someone says, "You've never achieved anything really important," instead of getting defensive and listing all your accomplishments, you can respond calmly. "You're right, I still have a lot to achieve, and that's precisely why I'm focused on building something solid instead of talking about it." Do you see what happened there? You didn't deny their criticism, you didn't get defensive, but you also didn't accept their negative framework. You took control of the narrative, transformed what was intended to be an insult into a statement of purpose. This completely disarms the arrogant person, because they can't continue attacking if you're not resisting. It's like trying to push a door someone just opened. You lose your balance. This method requires a very high level of internal security because you have to be comfortable with not needing constant external validation. Weak men need to defend every criticism, explain every decision, justify every action. Powerful men understand they don't need to convince anyone of their value, that facts speak for themselves over time, and that arguing with an arrogant person is giving them exactly what they seek: attention and validation that their words have power over you. The fourth method is using your body language as a silent weapon. This is something I see in all truly powerful men. They control their body consciously during tense interactions. When an arrogant person is talking to you, your body instinctively wants to adopt a defensive posture. You cross your arms, lean back, avoid eye contact. But this communicates submission or discomfort, which is exactly what the arrogant person wants to see. Instead, maintain an open but relaxed posture. Shoulders back but not tense, direct eye contact but not aggressive. And here's the crucial detail: reduce your movements. Insecure men move a lot, touch their face, adjust their clothes, make nervous gestures. Secure men are economical with their movements. Every gesture is intentional, every posture change is deliberate. When someone talks to you with arrogance and you remain absolutely still, looking directly at them, without blinking excessively, without nervous movements, without filling space with bodily noise, you create a presence that's impossible to ignore. It's as if your body is saying, "You don't intimidate me, you don't affect me, and I'm not going to waste energy reacting to your insecurity." I've practiced this in real situations, and the difference is abysmal. Arrogant people expect nervousness, they expect reaction, and when they don't get it, their artificial confidence begins to crumble. The fifth method, and probably the most important, is what I call redirection toward the practical. Arrogant people love to live in the world of words, theories, opinions, because there they can project an image without having to back it up with facts. So when someone is being arrogant with you, especially if they're questioning your ability or knowledge, redirect the conversation towards something concrete and measurable. For example, if someone says, "You don't understand how real business works," instead of entering a philosophical debate about what real business is, you can respond, "Interesting point. What specific results have you achieved applying that vision?" This question is lethal because arrogant people rarely have concrete results backing up their attitude. Or you can say, "Show me how you would do it then," or propose a specific solution to the problem we're discussing. This moves the conversation from the abstract terrain where arrogance thrives to the concrete terrain where facts matter. And here's the beauty of this method. If the person really has knowledge and capability, then you'll learn something valuable from the interaction. And if they don't have it, they'll be exposed without you having to attack them directly. It's what Thomas Shelby does constantly. When someone challenges him, he doesn't argue about who's more powerful. He simply proposes a concrete action, a specific deal, a decision that must be made. And in that practical process, the real hierarchy reveals itself naturally. Those who talk a lot usually do little, and those who do a lot rarely need to talk. Now, there's something fundamental I need you to understand about all these methods. None of them will work if you use them as a superficial technique while internally you're still insecure. These strategies are effective because they emerge from a place of genuine security, from knowing who you are, from not needing external validation, from understanding that real respect isn't begged for or fought for, it's earned with consistency and results. If you try to apply strategic silence but internally you're desperate to prove your worth, it will show. If you use questions but your voice trembles or your body language communicates fear, the effect is lost. That's why internal work is so important. And when I say internal work, I'm not referring to this positive thinking nonsense or affirmations in front of the mirror. I'm referring to building real competencies, facing genuine challenges, winning battles against yourself before worrying about battles against others. Men like Thomas Shelby don't need to shout because they've built empires. They've made difficult decisions. They've faced death and loss and still continued moving forward. Their calm isn't an act. It's the natural result of having developed an unbreakable psychological backbone. And that's what you need to build too, not to impress arrogant people, but because it's the only way to live with true freedom and power. Before continuing, if this content is really helping you see social interactions from a more strategic perspective, if you feel these principles can change the way you handle conflicts, I ask you to leave your like on this video and subscribe to the channel. It's not just a gesture of support, it's a way of telling me that this type of deep content, without superficial edits or empty promises, is what you really want to see more of. Additionally, when you leave your like, the algorithm shows this video to more men who are also looking for real development, who also want to escape mediocrity and build a presence that inspires genuine respect. So if you found value here, share it with that simple action. Now, let's talk about something many men don't understand about arrogance. It's almost always a mask for fear. Truly secure people, those who've achieved real things, those who have genuine power, rarely feel the need to announce it constantly. I think about the most successful men I've known, the entrepreneurs who built multi-million-dollar businesses, the leaders who transformed communities, and they all share a characteristic: operational humility. They don't behave as if they're special, they simply do the work, make the decisions, assume the responsibilities, and let the results speak. Arrogance, on the other hand, is compensatory noise. It's what someone does who needs to convince themselves and others they have value because internally they doubt that value. So when you understand this, when you really internalize that the arrogant person in front of you is operating from a place of deep insecurity, it completely changes your perception of the conflict. It's no longer a battle between two forces. It's simply a secure man observing an insecure man desperately trying to validate himself through conflict. And from that perspective, your natural response becomes calm, almost compassionate, because you recognize there's no real danger there, just noise. But here's the important nuance. Recognizing that someone is arrogant due to insecurity doesn't mean you should tolerate disrespect. There's a difference between understanding the psychological root of a behavior and allowing that behavior to negatively affect you. You can understand that a dog barks because it's afraid, but you're still going to establish clear boundaries about whether that dog can or cannot enter your house. The same applies to arrogant people. Use the methods I shared to maintain your composure and control, but if someone crosses a clear line, if the behavior becomes abusive or consistently toxic, then the solution isn't a more sophisticated communication technique. The solution is removing that person from your life or drastically minimizing their access to you. Thomas Shelby is patient and strategic, but when someone becomes a real threat or an insurmountable obstacle, he acts decisively to eliminate them from the board. Not with emotionality, not with dramatic revenge, but with the cold pragmatism of someone who understands that protecting your mental peace and energy is more important than any demonstration of power. Let me give you a concrete example of how to apply all this in a real situation. Imagine you're in a work meeting and there's that colleague who always seeks to belittle you in front of others, who interrupts your presentations with condescending comments, who questions every idea you propose not because they have better ideas, but because they need to feel superior. You already know their pattern, you know they're arrogant due to insecurity, but you still need to handle the situation professionally. So the next time they interrupt your presentation with something like, "That strategy would never work in the real world," don't get defensive. Don't launch into explaining why it would work. Simply apply what we talked about. First, A brief silence while you look directly at them, perhaps even with a slight smile that isn't arrogant but confident, as if their comment was predictable and irrelevant. Then a specific question. Interesting point. Can you explain exactly what specific problem you see with this approach? Now they have to articulate a real criticism instead of just throwing out generalities. If they give a vague answer, you ask another question. Do you have a concrete example or an alternative you would propose? You're keeping the conversation on practical ground where their arrogance can't hide. If they give a valid answer, you can even use the disarming partial agreement. You have a valid point about that specific aspect. Let's consider it in the next phase. Thanks for the feedback. You just neutralized their attempt to discredit you, demonstrated security by not getting defensive, showed leadership by keeping the conversation productive, and above all, communicate all this without a single aggressive word, without raising your tone, without lowering yourself to their level of noise. And here's something crucial many men don't understand. The goal of handling an arrogant person well isn't to win their respect or change their behavior. The goal is to maintain your own inner peace and demonstrate to everyone else present that you operate from a superior level of maturity and control. Because the reality is you'll probably never change a deeply arrogant person. Their insecurity is too ingrained. Their need for external validation is too strong. But what you can do is control how you respond to that arrogance, and in that control, demonstrate your true character. The intelligent people who are observing the interaction, those who have real power to influence your professional or personal life, they clearly see who maintains composure, who responds with maturity, who operates from genuine security. And in the long term, it's those people who matter, not the arrogant person desperately trying to get attention. Something else I've noticed studying powerful men, they treat others' arrogance as useful information, not as a personal threat. When someone treats you with arrogance, they're revealing something about themselves, their insecurities, their fears, their weak points. A strategic man files that information away mentally, not to use it maliciously later, but simply to better understand who they're dealing with. If you know someone is arrogant because they feel threatened by your competence in a certain area, you can adjust your communication with that person to minimize unnecessary conflicts without compromising your objectives. If you know someone is arrogant because they're desperate for approval from authority figures, you can use that to find common ground when it's strategically advantageous. It's not about dark manipulation, it's about practical social intelligence. Thomas Shelby constantly studies people, identifies their motivations, understands their weaknesses, and uses that information to navigate complex conflicts without unnecessary violence. You can do the same in your context. Observe, analyze, understand, and then respond strategically instead of reacting emotionally. Now, there's another aspect of this I want you to seriously consider. Sometimes the arrogant one is you. And I'm not saying this to insult you. I'm saying it because honest self-reflection is one of the most important characteristics of any man who wants to genuinely grow. We all have moments where we behave with arrogance, where we project our own insecurities through a condescending tone or a superior attitude. Maybe you do it when you feel threatened by someone younger or more talented in your field. Maybe you do it when you're with people you consider less educated or successful than you. Maybe you unconsciously do it with your partner when you feel they're questioning your authority. Recognizing these patterns in yourself is difficult but essential, because only when you're brutally honest about your own weaknesses can you really work on them. And here's the crucial point. If you apply the principles I'm sharing not only to handle external arrogant people, but also to identify and eliminate arrogance in yourself, your life is going to change dramatically. Because the most powerful men I know, the truly respected ones, are those who combine unshakable confidence with genuine humility, who can enter a room and dominate it completely without making anyone feel small, who can correct others' mistakes without being condescending, who can lead without needing to constantly remind people they're leading. Finally, I want you to understand something about real respect versus superficial respect. When you use these methods to handle arrogant people effectively, some people are going to misinterpret it as weakness. They're going to think that because you didn't shout, because you didn't respond with aggression, because you maintained calm, you're soft or easy to manipulate. Let them think that. Because the people who really matter, those who have genuine life experience, those who faced real challenges, they're going to immediately recognize the difference between a man who's calm because he's strong and a man who's calm because he's weak. The difference is in the eyes, in the posture, in the energy you project. A weak man avoids conflict because he's afraid. His eyes dodge, his voice trembles slightly. His body adopts closed postures. A strong man chooses not to escalate unnecessary conflicts because he has control over himself. His eyes maintain direct contact, his voice is firm and calm, his body remains relaxed but centered. Intelligent people see this difference instantly, and it's those people who will eventually form your circle of allies, collaborators, and real friends. The others, those who confuse calm with weakness, will eventually reveal themselves as superficial or insecure and will naturally filter themselves out of your life. So when you leave this video and find yourself facing your next arrogant person, remember this. It's not a battle you need to win with words or aggression. It's an opportunity to demonstrate, first to yourself and then to others, that you operate from a place of true power. Power doesn't shout, doesn't need constant validation, doesn't desperately defend itself against every criticism. Power simply is, and when you simply are who you are without needing to constantly prove it, others' arrogance becomes irrelevant, just background noise on your path to building something truly meaningful. So silence when necessary, questions when strategic, partial agreement when disarming, body language that communicates security, and always redirection toward the practical and measurable. These aren't tricks, they're principles that emerge from genuine security, and when you apply them consistently, you won't only handle arrogant people effectively, but you'll build a presence that naturally repels them because you're no longer an easy target for their need for validation. Now go and apply this, not to impress anyone, but because you deserve to operate from a place of true control and power over your own life.